Hello and welcome back to another week of the Sports Shift. I'm Ria Troilo, joined by my lovely co-host Brylin Adams. And boy, do we have a lot in store for you this week's episode with our first interview at the tail end of this episode. So definitely want to stick around for that. Brylin, kick us right off.
Marathon runner Brittany Charbonnet set a record of being the first person to win all 4 Run Disney races at the Walt Disney World Marathon. The marathon, obviously, the half marathon, 5K, and 10K. She dressed up as Cruella de Vil, Joy, Bing Bong from Inside Out, and Elsa. I thought that was very cute. And
Yeah, that's cute. But
yeah.
I hope her costumes weren't too they didn't weigh her down too much. Obviously they didn't if she got to run that far.
Yeah, it was cute. She had a North Face, I think she might be sponsored by North Face because she had purple leggings for Elsa and a white dress looking thing for Cruella de Vil, and she even had half her hair black and half her hair white. I thought it was really.
She went all out.
It was really cute idea.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Travis Kelce is the first player in NFL history to throw a touchdown, catch a touchdown, and have 100+ receiving yards in a single playoff game. Well, he continues to amaze in Philadelphia, doesn't he?
He popped off. Literally, his mom. I thought it was the coolest thing. Did you see that his mom? So him and Jason Kelce, obviously they're both in the NFL. His mom went to go to the Eagles game in Tampa Bay. Then she flew right after, got to the Kansas City and Steelers game in the first quarter, all on the same day. I was like, dang, Mom of the Year.
Wow.
I was like, that's so awesome that they have a chance to do that for, she gets to go see both of her sons play in the NFL.
I always thought that's amazing. Even in the NHL to have 2 brothers both being in the NHL. That must be a superstar story for any family.
Absolutely. But speaking of NHL, the Montreal Canadiens announced Tuesday that they have hired longtime NHL agent Kent Hughes to be their next general manager. Hughes, a Montreal native, has been an agent for more than 25 years, representing some big names in the NHL like Patrice Bergeron, Chris Letang, and Darnell Nurse. He will be introduced to the organization at a press conference today.
And I know a couple weeks back there were some talks that Danny Briere would have gotten the position. But all the best to Ken Hughes. I think he will be a fine fit in the Montreal Canadiens organization. Absolutely. So the defending Super Bowl champions sure did set the tempo for the start of the NFL playoffs, with Tom Brady leading a pair of touchdown drives in the first quarter and the Eagles being down 17-0 going into halftime. Brady finished the Birds off with 2 touchdown passes to Rob Gronkowski and Mike Evans, improving his impressive 35-11 record in postseason starts. Not only did Brady do his job, the Bucs defense took care of business as well, intercepting Jalen Hurts twice in his Philly playoff debut. The Eagles won 4 of their last 5 games to get to a playoff spot. However, the turning point of their season came when running the ball became a significant part of their offensive tactics. Sunday afternoon, the Eagles finished with 95 yards rushing overall, well below their season average of 159.7 per game. The Birds now enter the offseason with lingering questions about whether Hurts is the answer moving forward. And recently this morning, Nick Sirianni and Howie Roseman did have a press conference, and they did establish that they will build around Jalen Hurts.
Will they?
Yes, they think he took on the position well and executed, so they are planning on building around him.
See, I don't know about that. I don't know if that's the smartest thing for the Eagles. Literally, I was watching the game, and I wasn't too invested into it. But every time I watched the TV, I looked at the TV, he threw an interception. And I was like, take him out of the game. I was like, what are they doing? I literally texted my dad at halftime, and I was like, put Gardner Minshew in.
Yeah.
And he was like, no. Literally got a text from him in the third quarter, and he was like, you're right, Hurts is having an off game. I was like, you could tell he was having an off game. And at that point, it's the playoffs. This isn't week 5 or 6 even. It's if you're not getting done what you need to get done, you need to find somebody who's going to do it.
Right.
And even just a switch up at that point, like, could have shaken things up and got the Eagles past Brady. But
yeah, maybe he'll take this off season and kind of like, you know, sharpen up on his skills and find his way, because I know he battled a few injuries this season, and probably the mentality of taking on such a huge role in the NFL. So we'll see. I mean, if their plan is to build around, hopefully he executes and betters himself.
They might be able to do that.
Takes the Eagles to victory because, you know, we want to continue to chant that fight song further into the playoffs.
But continuing with the disappointment, the Flyers suffered a demoralizing finish in their 7th straight loss against the Rangers Saturday night. Heading into the third period with a 1-goal lead, New York ripped that away from them in a span of about 3.5 minutes. The Flyers now sit 13 points out of playoff position in the Eastern Conference. One thing that is going well for the playoffs is rookie defenseman Cam York. York has been the brightest spot for this team, scoring his first NHL career goal in his 5th game, quickly jumping into a contributing role. Playing for over 20 minutes in 4 of his 5 games, York has even replaced veteran Keith Yandle as the playmaker in the top power play unit.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
I mean, you definitely need those young guys to step up, because the roster is just, to put it, you know, bluntly, it's a mess. Like right now.
At this point.
Yeah. With injuries, with COVID protocol, it's just, they haven't been able to catch a break. And I know that's not an excuse, but it's the reality of it. But back-to-back games against the Islanders Monday and Tuesday night certainly did not end in the Flyers' favor yet again. They fell 4-1 Monday night at the new UBS Arena in New York, and then again in a shootout Tuesday night, coming away with at least 1 point in the standings. It was announced prior to Tuesday night's game that centerman Kevin Hayes will miss 3 to 4 weeks after undergoing a procedure Tuesday morning to drain fluid from his adductor region, the core area. Hayes had tried to prevent the absence as long as possible. Despite the 29-year-old center refusing to make excuses or reveal his limitations, he has clearly not been himself on the ice. Hayes had to undergo 2 abdominal surgeries in fewer than 4 months before the season.
So unfortunate. Like, I feel like he was itching to come back out on the ice, and like, he didn't want to face reality. Like, he needed to take care of his core. Like, he needs to get that fixed before he can play to his potential. And I feel like he also was he felt like he was letting his team down, because, you know, the roster's crazy. Like we were just saying, like, I feel terrible for them, but maybe they can turn things around.
That's the hockey mentality. They'll go out there with a limb hanging off of them, honestly. But the Flyers will be right back in pursuit of a win on Thursday night at home as they welcome Jake Voracek and the Columbus Blue Jackets back to the Wells Fargo Center for a 7 p.m. puck drop. Hopefully something will change in the Flyers' favor.
And just when we thought the Sixers were the only team bringing Philadelphia some happiness, after beating the Celtics on Friday with a final score of 111-99, the Sixers fell on Monday to their first road loss of 2022, a 117-98 defeat at the Wizards at Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. Joel Embiid looked himself, but it was a clunker otherwise for the team that entered with 9 wins in its last 10 games. Embiid led the team in scoring for the 14th straight game with 32 points, but the Sixers were missing Matisse Thybulle, Danny Green, Shake Milton, Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal just returned from a 3-game absence because of health and safety protocols, posting 13 points and 6 assists, So that was a nice, help, but you have so many other people who are out on, not contributing to the team who should. But the 25 and 18 Sixers will start a 2-game homestand at 7 p.m. tonight against Orlando Magic. So hopefully they can turn that, maybe just make it a 1-game losing streak.
Yeah,
hopefully.
You don't want to continue to break Joel Embiid's back, because a lot of weight is on him. I mean, he kills it. But, I mean, it's a team at the end of the day. I just got to say, they got to God bless Joel Embiid, because most of their success is within him. So.
I really think they should have a statue of Joel Embiid in front of the Wells Fargo.
At Xfinity Live, something. We need that here in Philadelphia. But with the NBA trade deadline less than a month away, Embiid did state that there is no urgency to change anything. So with a mindset like that, I guess he sees success. You know, they're paving a way for success and hopefully going to head into the playoffs and be more successful than the Eagles were. But
moving on to, you know, the off-season, Phillies are in off-season. Will Didi Gregorius be wearing a different jersey? After a solid season with the Phillies in 2020, Gregorius does not seem to be doing the Phillies or their fans any favors. He had -10 defensive runs saved, which is not a good number to have on your stat sheet, Ria.
No, definitely.
It might be time for Philly to just take majority of the veteran's $14.5 million salary and offload him to anyone interested.
You know, aside from all the analytics and the business part of it, as a fan, I would love to see them bring him back because I loved his walk-up song.
I know!
I loved his walk-up song this season. It's like, no, notorious. So, you know, just to have him back for that, I wouldn't be too mad about it. But the Phils rung up on some international players off the market on Saturday. The club landed Lou Helmig, an 18-year-old outfielder from Germany, and Nico Puka-Grego, a 17-year-old middle infielder from Australia. Lou Helmig is a 6'5", 190-pound outfielder who hits from the left side. He has played on several German international clubs, and his father also played in college in the U.S. and later went on to coach in several European countries. While Puka-Grego, listed at 5'10" and 175 pounds, is also a left-handed hitter with international experience at the youth level. It's a long journey to the major leagues, and not everyone gets there, but the road has to start somewhere, and Helmig and Puka-Grego will hit the road in 2022 as members of the Phillies organization. So best of luck to both of them.
Very
Hopefully we'll see them in the majors pretty soon.
Yeah, hopefully they can make the Phillies season not as depressing as the Flyers and Eagles seasons. But moving on to our lovely Neumann athletes, the men's basketball team finally started conference play and picked up their second straight win on the road against Gwen and Mercy last Wednesday and Marywood on Saturday. After a slow start against Gwen and Mercy, Neumann came back, and it seemed to be a bit of a back-and-forth game, but the Knights pulled away in the second half to win by 15. Jalen Vaughns, who is AEC Player of the Week again for men's basketball, led the team in points with 19 points, then JT Lewis with 16, and an overall outstanding performance by Tony James with 15 points, 5 assists, and 12 rebounds. I thought he was like very underrated, and like he's putting up points in all columns, so I thought that was really impressive.
Absolutely. And in the game against Marywood, things only got better. The Knights held a lead the entire game, and 4 players reached double figures. Leading point scorer Jalen Vaughns again put up 20 points and 11 rebounds. Other notable performances were Tony James putting up 14 points, Ryan Starr with 12 and dishing out 7 assists, and KJ Speller adding 10 points to the team leader list. So, a lot of contributions, a lot of depth.
Yep.
You know, the Sixers could learn from them.
Maybe
Certainly.
Too. But I think it is important to see that all these players are contributing, and it's not just one star player like Joel Embiid. And, you know, that is important when playoffs come because, you know, another team can just shut down one player pretty easily, but you can't shut down 4 or 5. So I think that's very great for them. But the men continued to dominate conference play as they completely overpowered Cabrini University Monday night, 84-46. The 11-5 Knights take on the Marymount Saints Saturday in the Miranda Center at 3 p.m., and you will not want to miss it. It will be a great game.
Yes.
We are continuing. We want a conference sweep from these boys.
Sure thing. Sure thing. It's always exciting in the Miranda Center. So Make sure you get there. And the women's basketball team started conference play as well, but unfortunately, they needed a little bit more help as they fell short to the Gwynn and Mercy Griffins 95-80. Chelsea Keebler led the Knights in 5 double digits in the scoring column with 15 points. Tiara Harris earning a double-double with 14 points and 14 rebounds, while Taria Hunt and Aubrey Breesblatt netted 12 and Diamond Collins added 11 points. The Griffins scored the first 11 points of the game, but our Knights bounced back quickly. The individual score of each quarter was only within a few points, except for the second quarter. The Griffins made sure to dominate by outscoring the Knights by 10, which ended up being the deciding factor of the game. The women also added to the win column, beating new addition to the conference, Centenary University, 57-40. Our Knights take on the Mighty Macs in the Miranda Center tonight at 6 p.m. So show out, give them some love and support as they look for a win.
I'll never forget that first home game of the season. They were rocking it in the Miranda Center. So yes, definitely be sure, go out, support. It'll be a great game. It's conference play. You can't get any better than
Exactly.
that.
Exactly.
This past weekend was not the best hockey I have seen from Neumann. The men's ice hockey team lost to the third-ranked team in the country, Utica College, 11-3. Like I said, not pretty. They took on Nazareth College Saturday evening and lost 4-1. It was a bit of a rough weekend for them. After this weekend's performance, the men's hockey team is now bumped down to 7th in the UCHC standings, shifting them out of playoff contention and in the hunt. They have a tough Friday night competing against number 2 seed in the conference, Wilkes University, so maybe they'll be able to find something to fight for. They got to fight for that playoff spot.
Well, I know that their hopes are still high, and you could hear more about that in our interview with men's ice hockey captain Kyle Pantalone coming up. So, you know, you'll hear more about that. But the women's hockey team fought hard against the Lebanon Valley Dutchmen. Senior Jasmine Martinez scored in the first period to start the night on a positive note, but the Dutchmen rallied back and forced the game into a shootout that Lebanon Valley was able to close out. Nonetheless, Michelle Bacon had an incredible game with 38 saves. The Knights had 4 power play chances but could not capitalize, unfortunately. The Knights then took on King's College but fell just short, 3-2. Shout out to freshman Leanne Sidorowitz on scoring her first collegiate career goal.
Yes, very exciting.
Yes.
Very exciting for her. But we have another. After a 7-game losing streak, the women's team finally got their win against King's College 5-2. Shout out to another sophomore, Emma Talkin, on her first collegiate goal and tallied an assist as well to cap off the night. They are headed to Hershey, PA tonight to take on Lebanon Valley in hopes to bring back a win and get a win streak going. That would be great.
I mean, you're going to Hershey, you need a win, and then you can get some chocolate after. But unfortunately, the men's volleyball team lost in their tri-match King's College in 3 sets each game. They look to bounce back against the University of Valley Forge in their home opener Thursday night at 7. So, you know, hopefully they can do some good things.
I'm excited for them to get more games under their belt. But,
Mm-hmm.
you know, turning things around, indoor track and fields, Courtney Humphreys set a program mile run record at TCNJ Invitational, crossing the finish line at 5 minutes and 29 seconds. Imagine running that fast. That would be great. Sophia Parrish ran her personal best in the 500 meter with a time of 1 minute and 31 seconds, and Geneva Konak set a PR as well, running her 60-meter dash in 9 seconds flat. 2 PRs were also set on the men's team, with Taekwon Sadler finishing the 200-meter in 27.86 seconds and Jerron McNeil crossing the 500-meter finish line in 1 minute and 23. They are back in action Saturday, competing in the Collegeville Classics. But good luck to all of our amazing athletes this week. But speaking of amazing athletes, we will be right back with one of our very own amazing Neumann student athletes, so stay tuned.
Hello, and we're welcome back with our first interviewee of the semester, Kyle Pantalone. He is the captain of the men's hockey team here at Neumann University. And Kyle, thank you for coming on.
You know, I'm just finding out now that I'm the first, and this is a huge honor, honestly. So I I guess this is going to be big shoes to fill after me, I hope.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we asked our intern who we should interview, and you were at the top of his list.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. Appreciate it.
Well,
Here we are.
Mike.
Thanks,
Mike McCrossin.
Mike McCrossin.
Another shout out. But to start off, overall, what has this season been like for you guys? Where do you see the success of the team going towards the end of the season? Playoffs? Yep. When will that start?
So playoffs will start in about, I guess, the end of February, and hopefully we're playing in the March. So that'll mean championships and NCAA tournament. And that's kind of where I see our team going, hopefully, if all things go well. So the season's kind of been a little up and down. We're coming off a little rough weekend, but that's going to happen. It's a long season, even though 25 games may sound short comparatively to an NHL and a junior season. We still got some time here to make up some ground and get back in the position that we want to be in heading into playoffs. We know we're a playoff team, but we're going to do the necessary measures to get back on track here. Just 2 games under 500, we'll get back to where we should be.
Absolutely. That's the attitude to have.
Yeah.
So compared to previous years, because you are a senior, compared to previous years, how does the team look?
Honestly, I think that this is the best year that I've had here since joining back in 2018 as a freshman there. Well, wow, I made myself sound old, right? But I think the youth movement that we've had come in, we've had a lot of freshmen kind of step in, and having Barry Needler back, Big Bear's back on campus, it's been great. But freshmen, like Nick Martino, I believe, leading our team in points, and Dexter Moselle, and guys chipping in from the back end, Nate Dunnan scoring a lot of goals, and it's everybody's really pitching in when they can, and I just find that we're a really balanced team more than we have been in previous years.
And that is significant for playoffs.
Right.
Yeah, it's very important to have.
And with that, you mentioned like Dexton, having teammates come from Canada, how do you kind of assimilate them into the structure of your team and kind of like make them feel welcome? Yeah,
so like you said, Dex is from Western Canada, and we have a lot of guys, Cameron Hatziano, Zach Thompson, Luke Croucher coming from Ontario there. It's nice to have that mix of, different guys coming from all over, because they're away from home. I'm technically considered like a local guy, even being an hour away. But aside from all the different sports teams that you see here at Neumann, you might have the odd, California, Maryland, like yourself. Them being so far, it kind of forces us to gel a lot quicker and, become a real family. So,
yeah, family's important. You kind of build that bond just by being with each other every day.
Especially on a team.
Yeah. You mentioned this season has been like your favorite by far. What has been the most memorable moment for you this far? I think if you think back earlier in our year, we were playing a game in Pittsburgh, and we're down, I believe it was like 5-3, and it was like everything that could have went wrong was going wrong. We've got 3 guys kicked out at the time due to, major penalties, and this, that, and the other's going on. It's just looking gloomy for us to, we're accepting our fate as a loss, but we didn't give up, and we scored 2 goals to tie it late, with 3 minutes left, killing off 2 5-minute major penalties, eventually winning the game in a shootout. And to do that on the road was a really uplifting moment. It's something that I think teams in the past of the men's ice hockey program, in the years that I've been here anyway, I don't think we would have had that resiliency to come back like that.
And it's more exciting to come back home when you're away and you had that win, and it's more exciting to come back and, could try to continue that on at your home rink. But kind of moving a little bit to a different, part, not so much about the team anymore, but what sparked your admiration for hockey?
So that's kind of like a tricky question. Having like a brother grow up and go through the same position, just watching him and our 4 to 5 year difference, being around the rink, becoming like a little rink rat and just, running up and down the bleachers. You want to try and do what he does, but, he got in it through the Flyers and the Eric Lindros days and the Legion of Doom line and everything like that. But when I saw him play, I wanted to strap him on too. And my parents begged and pleaded for me not to be a goalie, but, look what happened. So I want to trade it for the world, and it's been a really good ride so far, and hopefully maybe 1 or 2 more years left. If it's an extra year here or a year of pro, just say I did it. That'd be great.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
So you say that you grew up watching your brother, and like he was your spark for the sport. Who is your overall hockey idol? Could be your brother, still. Could be, anyone in the NHL. Could be Sidney Crosby, for all that matter.
You see that I was expecting a Penguins fan to say that. I do respect him that more so now than I ever did maybe as a 12-year-old kid. But I guess got to give that to my brother being a hockey idol, NHL idol. I've always had like a thing for Ryan Miller, the goalie. I just thought the way he went about his business and just very quietly, I kind of see a lot of my game and his, and it was just, not flashy, not, anything overwhelming. Just kind of get in, do your job, and hopefully get the win.
Yeah. Right. Keep it simple.
Yeah.
That's how you win games.
Oh, yeah.
Well, with all of this, you mentioned playing in the future, possibly another year, 5th year. Maybe potentially making it to the pros. What kind of sparks your motivation to keep moving forward and like bettering yourself and knowing that this is the sport you love and you want to keep it going for as long as you can?
Yeah, Ria, that's a great question. And, I think it comes back to, just the sacrifice that my parents have made. Hockey's not a cheap sport by any means. So just, even though it'd be like minor pros, obviously we're not going to the NHL here. But just to say I did it, tell my kids someday that, your dad was a pro hockey player, whether, they don't have to know what league it was in, whether it's in some league in Sweden or the Southern Professional League down here. But that would be the ultimate goal, just, hey, I did it. And thank you to Mom and Dad for all the sacrifices that you guys made for both me and my brother.
That's very sweet.
In the years.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's all about the sacrifice. It's what makes great athletes like yourself.
Yeah.
Well, Kyle, we thank you. And are we going to do our time 10?
Oh, yeah. We have our time 10.
Yes.
Man, all right.
So
it's a little trivia, right?
And if you win, if you answer these 10 questions.
I hope it's a Dunkin' gift card.
What does he get? What does he get?
You get a one-on-one date with our very own intern, Michael McCrossin.
Mike Clumpy.
To the calf.
All right. Oh, beautiful.
One-on-one date in the calf.
Swipe me in, all right? No.
So, are you ready for our time 10?
As ready as I will ever be.
All right, Ria, start the timer.
All right. It's in my head.
We can put Okay. Ready? Who is your childhood actor or actress crush?
Oh, man, that's a tough one. Anna Kendrick, though. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Pitch Perfect.
I hear Mike laughing in the back.
Pitch Perfect.
All right.
Oh, man, like absolutely.
What's your most used emoji?
I'd say the laughing one. I'm always laughing.
That's a good
Pretty
thing.
funny guy, self-proclaimed.
If you could bring back a fashion trend, what would it be?
Fanny packs.
Ooh, that's a good one.
You have everything you need right in front of you.
Right, very convenient.
Why did they ever go out of style in the first place is what I want to know. If The Rock was wearing one, why can't I?
Oh my gosh, okay. If you had to eat one meal every day for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh, man. Could I combine 3 things together? Or no, that's probably not it.
Sure,
right?
why not?
Yeah.
Ooh, well, I won't do that. I don't want to gross you guys out. I'm going to go
You're
pizza.
probably at like 30 seconds.
Pizza. Absolutely. This is the longest
Do you make
one.
it yourself?
Yes.
Absolutely. That's the only way to eat
Hands
pizza.
Pizza,
Hands
trademarked. Follow me on Instagram once I make one.
You heard it here. Favorite Olympic sport that isn't hockey?
Skiing.
What fictional world or place would you like to visit?
Narnia.
Ooh.
Most embarrassing memory?
Fell down the stairs in my own house while all my roommates were there.
What Disney character do you feel you most represent and why?
Stitch, I kind of look like him.
Is that self-proclaimed as well?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we got the same hair.
If you could instantly become an expert at anything, what would it be?
Science. I've always struggled with
Specific science, chemistry, physics?
Chemistry. Yeah, absolutely.
I love chemistry. What's your favorite superpower and why? If you had a superpower, what would it be?
Flying because I hate traffic.
Beautiful. Good job. Our
How'd I
first
do?
time
Not bad,
10.
huh?
That's probably
That
like,
just came to me. Right in here.
Quick with it. Quick with it. Well, thank you, Kyle, for joining us. Our first interview, and boy, did he kill it. And we wish you and the men's hockey team the best of luck. We hope to see you in the playoffs.
Oh, absolutely. We hope to see you guys there. Thank you very much. Really appreciate being the first one. And, you know, I got news. Whoever's coming, you
said the bar pretty high.
Phil.
Yes. Well, everyone, that was Kyle Pantalone, captain of the men's hockey team, and we'll catch you next week for another episode of The Sports Shift and another interview. So stay tuned for that. Take care.